Hey, Shalom. So this is a quick part two, and I stopped at Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 39 and 1, and it says, "But he that giveth his mind," right? Who is the he? The he that's speaking about the prophets, because only the prophets are able to go to the law and the testimonies, the prophecies, to unlock the will of Yahweh Shemel Shai in these last days. So, in other words, when you read Sirach 39, it should read what? It should read, but the prophets that give their mind, okay, but he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and the Most High's name is Yahweh. He exists, he to be, or he is infinite, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out or to search out the wisdom of all the agents, right? The times of old, and be occupied in prophecies. You see that? So a man of the Lord, starting with the prophets, will be occupied in prophecies. They will be on their watch daily. And if they're not daily on their watch, they're at least, reading or meditating, on prophecies, like it tells you in verse 1. Okay, that a prophet will meditate. It says, and it's occupied in the meditation. So if you're not occupied and watching the prophecies unfold via your news media, various articles, you're at least reading scriptures, okay, or you're at least meditating on what's the next move. Okay, this is verse 2. He, right, so a prophet will keep the sayings of the renowned man. Yeah, what are some examples of renowned men? Okay, a Jeremiah, he's an example of renowned man. Isaiah, Ezekiel, Apostle Paul, King David, Yahushai. You see, it says he will seek out the secrets of grave sentences and be conversant in dark sayings. Again, verse 3, he will seek out the secrets, and that's in Psalms 25. This is the book of Psalms 25, 25 and 14. The secret of Yahweh, I'll read that one more time. The secrets of Yahweh is with them that fear him, and he will show them his covenant. You see that? So when you go back to Ecclesiasticus 39 and 3, it says he will seek out the secrets. So who are the secrets given to? To them that fear Yahweh Shemel Shai, which is God that in Psalms 25 and 14 and Amos 3 and 7, how the Lord reveals his secrets, which are the prophecies, to the servants, the prophets. And the prophets are able to, make videos, make various warning, letters, epistles, you know, to uh to the flock, which is the flock of the nation of Israel, the 12 tribes. It says, verse 4, he shall serve, so a prophet will serve among great men and appear before princes. He will travel through strange countries. Yeah, in America, Babylon the Great is a very strange country. Is a very weird and bizarre country. Dynasty, right? For he has tried the good and the evil among men. Yeah, so a prophet of Yahweh Shemel Shai knows the reason of good and evil, and he understands the difference of what's good and what's evil according to the will and the gift of Yahweh Shemel Shai. That's why the prophets are able to link present events that are going out going on throughout the world, okay, with the scriptures. Again, going back to the event that's happening out there in China, tanks deployed by Chinese authorities to stop people from withdrawing money. And that's also a prophecy And Jeremiah 48, okay, Jeremiah 48 and 42 tells you about the judgment of Moab. For those of you who don't know who Moab is, those are one of the top five enemies of the so called Negro, so called Latino, so called Native American men. Now, amongst the so called Chinese, you would have Israelite foreigners who look like Chinese. A good example is Bruce Lee. Okay, Bruce Lee, he's an Israelite. Okay, and Lord Swoop will see him in the kingdom. Hey, or maybe he's back in the reincarnation, but that's for another okay lesson going into the Israelite foreigners. But real quick, this is Jeremiah 48. Jeremiah 48, and I'll start at 1. And this is a prophecy concerning Moab, the so-called Chinese. That's also on the law. Okay, the law speaks about how those who have gone against the nation of Israel will be made accursed in the last days. Jeremiah 48 and 1. Against Moab, okay, against the Chinese. Thus saith the Lord. Yeah, so we're out here to say, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the power of Israel, destruction unto you, Nebo, for it is spoiled. Kiriathaim is confounded and taken. Misgab is confounded and dismayed. Yeah, when you read about the history of these Moabites, that goes into their different provinces, named after various lieutenants, generals, and kings of the so called Chinese. This is verse 2. There shall be no more praise of Moab in Heshbon. They have devised evil against it. Come and let us cut it off from being a nation. You see, come and let us cut it off from being a nation. Yeah, so that's what the Lord's doing to you so called Chinese people, man. Okay, the Lord's cutting you from being a nation. Just like, Moab and Esau and these different nations pursuing to Psalm 64 and Psalms 83, they come together with one consent to blot out the names of the 12 tribes of Yasharallah. But that's going to backfire against you Chinese. Jeremiah 48 and 2. Come and let us cut it out from being a nation. Also thou shalt be cut down, O madman. Also thou shalt be cut down, O madman. Yeah, and Moab, he's a madman. He's trying to implement his new level frequencies, if you know what I'm talking about. He's working with the left side. The scriptures speak about the pride of Moab. Just like Esau is very proud. Well, guess what? Hey, Moab, he's almost at the same level of proudness. You see that? It says, a voice of crying shall be from Horonaim, spoiling and great destruction. Moab is destroyed. Her little ones have caused a cry to be heard. You see, Moab is destroyed. Her little ones have caused a cry to be heard. And that's happening with these protests. Moab is crying because he can't withdraw money, okay, from these Chinese banks. This is down to verse 11. Moab hath been at ease from his youth. You see, the so called Chinese, they have been at ease, meaning Moab has been, stress free, living that lavish life. Even here in Babylon the Great, you go to parts of California like San Francisco, and you have Moab, living the same style as Esau, Edom. Why? Because Moab and Esau, man, they're, in other words, they have taken the riches of the Negro, Latino, Native American men and women, starting with the men. This is Jeremiah 48:11. Moab has been at ease from his youth, and he had settled on his lees, and has not been emptied from vessel to vessel, neither has he gone into captivity. So, the last time we had these various Moabites, and Ammonites in captivity, man, that was for a small season. I believe when you read the history of Chronicles, Second Chronicles, First Kings, Second Kings, you encounter scenes where our forefather King David, which he was a prophet pursuing to Acts, the second chapter. King David had these heathens, especially Moab, Esau, Amalek. He had them in captivity for around, I believe it was around 30 to 40 years. But that's a small season. Now, like it tells you in Jeremiah 48 and 1, that he has not gone into captivity, meaning full captivity, full slavery, and that's going to happen in the kingdom of heaven when Yahweh Shai returns. The total slavery, enslavement of the so-called Chinese will come to pass. It says, "Neither has he gone into captivity; therefore his taste remaineth in him, and his scent is not changed. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will send unto him wanderers that shall cause him to wander, and shall empty his vessels and break their bottles." Verse 14, "How say ye, we are mighty and strong men of war for the war?" Verse 15. Yeah, and Moab, they're very they have a strong military. Okay, they are mighty and strong men. But who has given Moab, the power to have, these different tanks? It came from Esau. Okay, Esau, Edom, that's his blessing. But who gave Esau, Edom that blessing? Hey, Yahweh Shemal Shai, starting in the book of Genesis, the 27th chapter, via Isaac, right? Moab is spoiled and gone up out of her cities, and his chosen young men are gone down to the slaughter, saith the king, whose name is the Lord of hosts. The calamity of Moab is near to come, and that's happening, man. The calamity of Moab is soon to come. Okay, and that's happening with the bank accounts being restricted, uproars of the people, pestilence, and various provinces. That's an example of the prophecy here in Jeremiah 48 and 16. The calamity of Moab is near to come, and his affliction hasteneth fast. You see that? His affliction hasteneth fast. This is Jeremiah 48 and 42. Jeremiah 48 and 42. It says, "And Moab," I'll start at 41, "Kerioth is taken, and the strongholds are surprised, and the mighty man's hearts in Moab," right? These different troops, these different soldiers, "and that at that day shall be as the heart of a woman and her pangs." And that's happening out there in China, man. You have uproars of the people. You have the various, Chinese military, okay, who are going to lose power when Yahweh Shai returns. This is all prophecy. This is verse 42. "And Moab shall be destroyed from being a people, because he hath magnified himself against the Lord." You see that? So Moab, so-called Chinese, will be destroyed from being a people because they have magnified themselves against Yahweh Shemel Shai, which magnifying yourself against the Heavenly Father, man, that's also, the so-called Chinese wanting to be better than the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American men. Hey, when you read history, man, Moab had a lot of our people, you know, in a in a very a great distress, in a very lower state, and that's happening now. Okay, Moab comes to Babylon the Great, opens up various businesses, sells Eve, wigs, stuff of that nature, to keep the so-called black woman, Latina woman, in her so-called glory. Mainly the black woman, which is the Southern Kingdom. But Moab has been feeding our people, unclean animals, rats, dog tacos, to Issachar. There was a scene out there in Tijuana where you had these Moabites who were feeding the tribe of Issachar carne asada, dog tacos, man. Carne asada, dog tacos. Okay, and after I believe it was like 2 years, they got caught, man. But that's an example of Moab magnifying themselves against the Lord. Okay, by what? By harming the nation of Israel. All the 12 tribes, okay, are being afflicted by Moab. Okay, so hey, just like we prophesy against Esau, Edom, the so-called white men, hey, we're also prophesying against you Chinese, okay, who have been taking part of the destruction of the 12 tribes of Israel. But now all these curses that have fell fell on so-called Negro, Latino, Native American men, women, and children, that's gonna backfire on all you other nations. And this is how you know Yahushua is on its way. Okay, the uproars of the people and these various prophecies concerning Moab, concerning Esau, Elam, especially Moab, because this is the whole center of this lesson. Okay, Moab is being confounded by Yahweh Shemel Shai, man. So again, an example of Moab being confounded by Yahweh Shemel Shai is tanks deployed by Chinese authorities to stop people from withdrawing money. Okay, and this is current news. And with that, I want to say shalom.